Hello there. My name is Scott Forehand. Welcome to the Financial Focus with Scott Forehand. The title of today's episode is Beyond the Rate: Smarter Mortgage Decisions That Build Wealth. Welcome and thanks for joining us today. This is the podcast where we cut through the noise, challenge conventional thinking, and bring clarity to financial decisions that shape your future. One of the things I've learned over the years, working with families, business owners, professionals across the country, and so forth, is that most financial stress doesn't come from a lack of effort. It comes from a lack of coordination. People are working hard, earning well, saving where they can, but their money is scattered. Their strategies don't talk to each other. The biggest financial decisions of their lives, homes, debt, leverage, long-term income, and so forth, are often made in isolation. Today's conversation sits right at the intersection of all that. When you think about the financial pillars of someone's life, housing and real estate almost always rise to the top. For most families, a home is the single largest asset they'll ever own and the single largest liability they'll ever take on. For business owners and investors, commercial property can be the engine that drives long-term wealth or the anchor that quietly drags everything else down if it's not structured properly. Yet, for something so central, mortgage decisions are often treated as transactional. Rate shopping, term length, monthly payment, end of discussion. But the truth is, mortgages, both residential and commercial, are not just loans. They're tools, and like any tool, the outcome depends on how well it's understood and how intentionally it's used. That's why I'm excited about today's guest. Our guest, Tommy Hines, a residential mortgage broker with decades of real-world experience navigating multiple market cycles, booms, busts, rising rates, falling rates, and everything in between. He's worked with first-time home buyers, seasoned real estate investors, business owners, structuring complex deals, and that's what sets Tommy apart. It's not just his experience, but it's his perspective. Tommy understands that debt is neither good nor bad on its own. He understands what matters is how it's structured, how it's managed, and how it fits into the broader financial picture. He's also someone who doesn't just talk theory, he lives it. Tommy's a client. He actively uses both annuity strategies, infinite banking concepts in his own financial life. This matters because it means today's conversation isn't hypothetical. It's coming from someone who understands leverage, not just from the lender's side of the table, but also from the borrower's side, from the investor's side, from the long-term planner's point of view. On top of that, Tommy's also an author. Writing a book forces you to slow down. It forces you to organize your thinking. It forces you to articulate what actually works, not just what sounds good in a sales pitch. It's another layer of credibility. And it reflects a career built on education, not just transactions. In today's episode, we're going to talk about how mortgage strategy fits into overall wealth planning. We'll explore common mistakes people make when they're refinancing or acquiring property. We'll talk about interest rates, yes, but also about cash flow, opportunity cost, flexibility, and long-term impact. And we'll look at how smart borrowing decisions can complement tools like annuities, like infinite banking programs, rather than compete with them. This is not about chasing the lowest rate at all costs. It's about making decisions that still make sense 5, 10, 20 years down the road. If you own property, plan to own property, or are trying to understand how debt can be used more strategically instead of reactively, this conversation is for you. So settle in. Take some notes if you need to. And as always, my goal is that you walk away from the Financial Focus better informed, more confident, and better equipped to make decisions that align with your long-term vision. With that, I'm excited to welcome today's guest, mortgage professional, author, trusted advisor, friend, and client, Tommy Hines. Tommy, how you doing?
Scott, it's an honor to be on the microphone with you again and to be able to share with your listeners. My education, has spanned a lot of decades, as you've already said, And
You're
so I
experienced. Well,
there you go. I'm an experienced
there you
professional.
go.
I'm gonna claim that,
There you
but
go.
a humble one because even at my age and gray hair, I am a eternal student, Scott. So I'm
Right.
continuing to learn and grow as I know you are, and that's why we work together pretty darn well.
Yeah,
And our
you and I've done a
clients,
lot of radio together. It was a lot of fun, and I'm glad we can continue down that with these podcasts as we start pulling these out. So,
absolutely, absolutely. And so. Uh, so for those who haven't heard of me before, my real name is Perfect Home Guy. So they probably haven't heard that yet. But Perfect Home Guy actually came from my 23 years in the mortgage business, where when the markets declined back in the '08 and the '09 area, most people, when they wanted to improve, repair their homes, you know where they went, Scott. They went to the bank and they got a HELOC,
yep,
home equity line of credit, at a high rate tied to prime rate. And that was not necessarily the best source of funds that homeowners could use. However, that's the primary one that everybody has gone to for decades and a century almost of home real estate purchasing and commercial entities providing mortgages. Now, so in that time period, I learned about when people lost $100,000 of equity in their property. Hopefully, it wasn't one of you listening, but it could have been. But when you lost 100,000 of equity in the market crash of '09, uh, there was a loan that's been around for 50 years, and they're called renovation loans. They were started 50 years ago, but only 5% of banks and credit unions, no, I should say even less than that, there's no banks and credit unions really use them or offer them for the most part. Okay. Uh, and 95% of realtors do not know anything about it either, which is why you, the public, are not hearing about it. So, Perfect Home Guy's mission is to educate America about how they can get the most affordable way to renovate their homes because, as part of today's topic, uh, there's lots of debt we all get into. And our auto debts, our credit card debts, student loan debts, whatever you want to name, furniture debts. These debts are detrimental to our long-term wealth, are they not, Scott?
yeah, they are, and I've got a bunch of questions that I want to get out there.
Good.
It's awesome what you're doing because you're actually pre-answering a lot of these.
Okay.
But here's something I want to bring to focus. So,
Okay.
Tommy, you've seen this. You've been in this market, in these markets. You've lived this. You've been through boom markets. You've been through crashes. You've been
Yeah.
through low rate environments, high rate environments, and all that.
Yeah.
What would you, if you're in keeping in line with education, what would you, what do most people misunderstand about the current mortgage landscape?
I think the first thing they don't understand, and they must understand it as early in the process of home ownership or home purchase as possible, is choosing the right lender is
Right.
everything. So I'll repeat that. Choosing the right lender is everything. There are what are called full service lenders. I happen to be one of those. I'm one of 5% of them in the nation. The other 95% are not full service. They cannot offer you the options that Scott and I bring to his clients and to my clients. Full service means that seniors can get loans without mortgage payments called HECM, home equity conversion mortgages. These are called payment option loans. Some people used to call them reverse mortgages. That is a past that is a past they've disappeared. Okay. HECM replaced it because there are some lenders that would take advantage of seniors, but
Yep.
no more. FHA took over this system called home equity conversion mortgage for seniors so that they're always insured, always guaranteed. Nobody takes the property away from the family ever. And the seniors can still have the option of no payment or increased cash flow in their retirement years. Then there's the renovation side, which is where Perfect Home Guy comes from, where I can take any home that's, I call them the used homes out there, I refer to as life stained homes. It's somebody else's life, somebody else's style, somebody else's color is all over these homes you want to buy. And when you go shopping for them, your realtor takes you to 6 different properties. Every one of them has something wrong with it you don't like, that your spouse doesn't like. So Perfect Home Guy fixes that. Choosing the right lender is why Perfect Home Guy exists, because I connect home buyers and homeowners with lenders across America that do what I do. They offer renovation loans where you don't even need equity and you don't need to drain tens of thousands of dollars out of your investment accounts to pay for the renovation on your property. But Scott, today people are doing that. They're draining their investments that probably are giving them decent returns of over 8% or more on some products. They're draining that. They're liquidating their life insurance. What do you call that? What's it called? The life insurance you can borrow against. What's that called?
Cash value life insurance.
Cash value. The cash value. The cash value is the thing, a term I couldn't remember. Yeah, so people are draining those things and they don't need to, because we, Perfect Home Guy, can get them loans that don't require equity or tens of thousands of cash. That's what I'm about.
Okay. So I want to transition now a little bit. Let's talk about a book. So you've written a book called "The Wizards Don't Know: A Yellow Brick Road from Fear to Perfect Love and Truth."
Mm-hmm.
This tells me, and because I know you because I've used you, but this tells me that you're interested and you care about education, not just transactions. So, what are some of the lessons you want readers and clients to understand about investing in real estate?
Mm-hmm. Uh, wow. We kind of started off the show talking about the bad debt. Okay. So every one of you out there who is unfortunately struggling with some of that bad debt, either the car loans, which are pretty sizable these days and times, credit card debt. Some people, because their income has not caught up with the life expenses, is that credit card debt is too high. And also, these credit card companies are making a fortune on all of us who run up debt and don't pay it off during the month. And then, but real estate is one of the safest investments to put your money. And any realtor and any financial advisor will tell you location, location, location. That means not all real estate, not all properties have the same ability to grow in value. Therefore, what I educate, this book is Perfect Home Guy. I'll put it as Perfect Home Guy renovates homes for a lot of years. Now, the book is helping to renovate hearts and minds also, because so many of us are mired in too many fears. Am I am I dealing with the right people?
Right.
You know, are the people who are advising me, are they really telling me the truth? Well, actually, my book speaks to that. Okay, it speaks to how do we discern who's out there telling you the truth and who's not. Um, the In order to get a better understanding of who to trust, we all have to compare it with our own life experiences. Some of us are more educated than others, but here's what I've learned, Scott, and for your audience. I don't care who you are, liberal, conservative, is that's meaningless to me. We've all been taught something that's not true. I call it waste truth.
Yep.
This waste truth are things that we've made decisions on every single day. Like,
Right.
which lending institution should we be using for a home purchase or other investments? Which insurance agent should we be using for that? Who can we trust? Okay. That's going to share truth with us. Well, I've generally found it to be people have a, they, first of all, they start with a good heart and they have evidence in their life of giving to others, of sharing with others, of educating, of being more interested in your best interest. So that's called fiduciary, is it not, Scott? If you're a fiduciary, you're more interested in your client's best interest.
As if you're a fiduciary, you're required to operate and make decisions based on your client's best interest and not yours.
There you go. Well, see, that describes Perfect Home Guy. It describes Scott Forehand. And we have many other friends that we refer our friends and clients to who have similar um, trustworthiness is a term, or similar knowledge and education, uh, because we
Similar
all have.
mindsets, thought processes, and the way they deliver service.
There you go. You have gifts and talents I could never imagine or do, and I'm so blessed to know you and to be a client of the Forehand Agency, because you guide us in ways that make us feel comfortable no matter what. So that's Perfect Home Guys' mission. Also, I'm here to let the consumers know that if you just go on the internet, you want to buy a house, and you just start clicking through Zillow and whatever other website you find that has something in your neighborhood, that's the last place to
All right,
be starting.
let's stop there
Good.
because that actually is a question I really want to get into.
Great.
All right, so the question is for people that are listening today and considering either refinancing or doing a property purchase, what's the first step they should take before they call a lender? What's the
Okay.
first step?
The first step they take is before calling a lender is to check out what perfecthomeguide.com says, because that website does not cost you anything to review or look at. When you go there, I have some educational things there that will help you understand why a full service lender is the only one you should be dealing with. So, selecting a full service lender, like I said, I'm not the only one in the nation, but I'm connected with a nationwide network of lenders and realtors
Yeah, just
who
FYI,
we can.
Tommy, I've used you in
Okay.
Florida,
Yes, sir.
California,
Yes, sir.
Arizona, Texas, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina,
Okay.
Georgia.
Yes, sir.
You've been able to support my clients all over the country, so thank you.
And that's because the source that I go to, I'm licensed with, and they oh gosh, their organization is also built on community and service, and they're ones you could trust. They're rated in the Scotsman Guide of Retail Mortgage Lenders in America, and last year they were rated number 7 in the nation. $22 billion worth of mortgages done. So that means they are a trustworthy source. Perfect Home Guy gets you connected with them. Okay, so that's where you start, because we'll connect you with the right people who have good
There you
hearts and
go.
good attitudes of service.
So rather than fishing
Yes,
and guessing and
yes,
not knowing whether you're making a right choice, just
right,
call Tommy. Okay,
yes,
that should be your first step. And then he'll help you get the right place. He'll help you get the right lender, someone who's not just transactional, but someone who's really looking out for you. And that's something that's important in my practice, and that's one of the reasons why I have you on this call, Tommy, because you do a
hmm,
good job and I trust you. And
yep.
that's something that I think Warren Buffett said it takes 20 years to build a good reputation and 5 minutes to lose it. So yeah. So
Yes,
all
that's
right.
true.
So let's do
That's
this.
true.
We're about done here. So for the listeners who want to learn more about your book,
Yep,
about working with you,
yep.
where's the best place for them to go to get a hold of you? Let's go ahead and
Well, on the website perfecthomeguy.com,
there you go.
it does have an email address there. It has my phone number as well. And it has a link to this book that I'm referring to that is going to be in print this spring. This book, I'm just, with all humility, I think it could be an international bestseller, because it applies to human beings and all of our fears and our relationships, and how our relationships are influenced by all these fears. And
Yeah.
misinformation, another buzzword these days.
Oh yeah.
We're all getting misinformation from who knows what. And so the book speaks to that, and how to be more discerning in your decision processes.
Right on. All right, Tommy. We're at the end. I'll give you the
Okay.
last word. Any suggestions, any words of wisdom for anybody?
Uh, yeah. Um, there in these 23 years of doing mortgages, and since our topic today is is guiding your listeners to better decisions, better context, to get the information they need. I'm just going to say that the reason why I don't give mortgage interest rates on the phone and talk any of that stuff, or on the phone or in this podcast, is because every one of you out there has got a different story. You have a different credit history. You have different sizes of assets or no assets, first home, 10th home. We customize everything to you. And that is what you need. Every single time you want to deal with real estate, you need somebody who's going to customize exactly what you need and have a full service portfolio to deliver it, like Perfect Home Guy and like Scott Forehand.
Well, thank you, Tommy. So we'll be back next week. The guest is a surprise, and I wouldn't be doing justice to my publisher if I didn't plug my book. So we've got a book that's coming out. Actually, by the time you see this, it's out. It's called Kingdom Banking: Legacy by Design, and it's all about doing the financial maneuvers that people should be doing, but from a position of biblical truth. So there's, if you read the good book, there's all kinds of information in there about how to correctly invest the blessings that he's provided. And that's what that book is about. Mm-hmm. And you can go find it at www.kingdom-banking.net. Tommy, thank you for your time. I appreciate you, sir. And I can't wait to do this again with you.
God's an honor as always, brother. And I appreciate you and your audience, and hope everyone is blessed and prospering.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.